What's up, everybody? This is Zach and Sawyer with the Come On podcast. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to dive into my favorite chapter. It's Acts chapter 9. We're going to talk about Saul's conversion. We're glad to have you here. Come on.
Come on.
Just the whole podcast. I should just stare at the camera.
Hey, everybody.
Dude, I'm like,
Sniffling.
yeah, all of a sudden my nose started running.
I like that shirt.
I like your shirt. I like your shorts.
$20 at Academy.
I know. I got BCG. Is that BCG? Yeah.
We were gonna get. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's literally my favorite shorts to wear, like running traps and stuff, because you can jump in the water if you want to. They dry out. It doesn't matter. You get them dirty. Like they're just whatever.
Yeah. We were gonna get some. We were because I want some nice shorts for like running and stuff, and stuff like just wearing around the house or whatever. And we went to Academy, and I was like Under Armour or Nike. I was like,
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
like $60.
Well, see, I don't even like. I used to be all about. Well, maybe we shouldn't talk about this on the air. We're gonna lose our sponsorship. Like Under Armour and all that. But dude, I really Dick's Sporting Goods, DSG brand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like some of my favorite shorts.
I didn't know that was Dick's Sporting Goods brand.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Yeah. Yeah. DSG.
Wow.
What you learn every day.
That's crazy. That is a good brand, though.
I
They
know.
have good stuff.
Their shorts are comfortable. Like I said, I could jump in the boat with them, or you could actually wear them. I mean, they're nice looking, whatever. Yep.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yep.
I've literally. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to tell Kirsten because I don't think she knows that either.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I didn't know till I think Lauren bought Nate some. And I saw and I was like, what is that? She's like, Dick's Sporting Goods. I was like, oh.
She's smarter than
Yeah, I didn't know.
Kirsten probably knows. And I'm just probably dumb.
It's us.
It's us. I want to get some like Lululemon shorts. I've heard that they're pretty comfortable. But they're cheap, right?
I have them. I'm telling you, dude. I know there's people buy Lululemon because you look fancy
Bougie
or whatever.
whatever.
Yeah, bougie, bro. Their clothes are legitimately some of the best clothes I've ever worn.
Yeah.
And what I do like too is you don't even know somebody's wearing Lulu really. Like some stuff you do, but most of it you can't even tell because of they don't do their logo real flashy and all that. Which I like. That's
I like
cool.
that too. Yeah.
And so they're trying, like their whole, I don't know, obviously their schemes, but I think from what I've heard, their brand thing is like our clothes are actually literally quality.
Yeah.
Not just like a name thing that's real popular.
Yeah.
You know? Even though it did become popular. But
yeah,
their shorts and especially their like joggers are some of my favorite pants. I have a pair of those.
I like their lifetime warranty.
Yeah, see, I didn't even, well, yeah, I did know that.
I love that. I mean, you get a hole in something, you can just take it back.
Yeah.
But that's
That's
pretty cool.
like my Costas, man. They used to have a true lifetime warranty. Now it's kind of, I don't know what happened. I know they got in a lawsuit and something, it changed. But when I had my first pair in 2014, you could just send, I think it was like $9. I got a whole new pair of glasses because the nose pieces that are molded in were come out or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like $9, just paid for shipping. Got a brand new pair of glasses.
Nice.
Yeah.
Come on, Costas, do better. Send us a free pair of glasses.
Yeah.
I know you're listening.
Yeah. Wow. What a week.
Yeah, it has been a week.
And this weather is like, well, I know we started out like it was like hoodies in the morning and sweating
degrees,
sweating by lunch.
Yeah.
Yesterday and today, dude, has been really nice.
Pretty days.
Daggum pollen, though, if you could just get rid of that. I think
Yeah.
we're pretty close, though. We need like another rain, which we're probably going to get here in about a week. So
It looks like this week's going to be beautiful.
yeah. Oh, yeah, like perfect weather.
I'm taking off work this week.
Yeah, the whole week. We'll go fishing and
I'm telling you.
other activities.
We can't talk. I went catfishing this weekend with a buddy of ours, a guy who works with us, and I caught my PB catfish, and it was, I don't even know how much. We didn't even weigh it, but I mean, I put 2 hands in his mouth. It was Opelousas.
Yeah.
And, that was
That's
cool.
fun.
So it was a tree that fell in the water, and we were pulling up jugs, and all the jugs kind of got tangled up in this one spot because the tree fell across the river or the bayou. And so we were picking them up, and we saw this one. It was a tree limb coming out of the tree, and then here's the big oak tree, and it's just bobbing, like going underwater. So we're like, oh snap, it's a big one. I had to get on the tree, and like I started pulling it up, and it just took it out of my hand, and then it finally came back up, and I grabbed it, and I yanked that thing out of the water. And all you saw was just mouth come up. We were like, oh, we threw it in the boat. Higher ass. We started jumping up and down. It was crazy.
Isn't that so fun? Like your adrenaline. Like you can catch like a 3-pound, if you hadn't been fishing in a while, or really it doesn't matter, but you can catch a 3-pound bass or something, or like that, dude, and you're like
fired up.
Yeah.
And it's like ingrained in men to just like nothing. No one ever taught us to like get excited about that. You know, like if you ever watch a kid fish, like and then that bobber goes down in the water, it's just you know, like no one's ever taught them to get it. It's just like
it's instinct.
It's primal, ingrained in us. Just like, oh, I get to feed my family. You know, like I don't know. I'll just I want to catch some more Opelousas catfish.
That video y'all sent, the mud. You know, jumping into the mud or being in the mud. I'm telling you, bro, like it may not make sense to every guy listening to this, but for me, that's like, I like thrive doing that stuff. So when I was running those catfish traps, I'd do it every evening, literally. But I did live literally 5 minutes. I could be in the water. So that's a difference. But it's just something about, I could just go out there and just ride in the boat for an hour in the sun, you know, out in the wilderness basically. And I remember I'd go on Saturday mornings and go check the traps, and I would play. I had that little JBL speaker that's down there in the shop, and I'd be playing worship music and just shirt off, like, and I'm white, so shirt off, just shorts, like, you know, the shorts like what you got on, my feet propped up on the ice chest, and I'm just like singing worship music, cool. Dude. I know them people in them houseboats. I'd like pass boats. I wouldn't even turn it down or nothing. Just, like, you know, just
this crackhead. Yeah, that's so funny.
But dude, it's just something about it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And it's like same thing. Like no one ever taught us to like love nature. Like no one ever like. I don't know. It's just like feels like you're supposed to be out there. Like yesterday morning when we were out there and those deer. I sent you this video. That video of the deer. All we heard was just like splash, splash, and it was 5 deer swimming across the bayou right in front of us, and you're just like, man, look
at God, like just how you know,
we just so happened to be at the right spot.
Yeah, when they decide to cross,
that was so cool.
Yeah,
there was this one point where there was some tree limbs in the water, and I had to reach in the tree limbs to grab a jug, and I reached, so my hand's right here. There was a water moccasin in the tree limb right there. I didn't see him until he just went bloop into the water, and I was just like. And I looked at Logan, and he was like, ooh.
Yeah, I know one time, I don't remember, well, I won't disclose my private frog hunting location, but I was frog hunting one time, and you shine the light. I don't know if you ever frog hunted?
Never.
Okay. Shining the lights at the frog, and, you know, your focus is on that frog. You're trying to make sure, like, is he about to jump? And, you know, all that. You got to keep the light in their eyes. We're going up, dude, and all of a sudden I'm like, whoa. Literally right beside it was a snake curled up. I guess about to get that frog. I don't know, but he's going to get me if I went.
Oh, my goodness.
But, dude, so ever since then, I'm like, when we do
you're checking around.
Yeah, I've got another light, and I'm, like, looking around real quick to see.
Yeah. The reason we're laughing is because at one time in my life, I hunted frogs out of season. Unknowingly. And I told Zach about it, and he was like, isn't it not frog season? I was like, oh, shoot. So I broke the law. I'm sorry. Don't arrest me. But.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll transition to our friend Saul.
Isn't it cool that they and I'm not trying to stay on it, but like Peter, like when he was fishing, and he wasn't he fishing Opelousas catfish?
Oh, I don't know.
I think he was. Jace Robertson went to Israel or Jerusalem, and he said he was eating at this place right beside the Dead Sea. And he said like all you could feed them, like, and it was just Opelousas catfish. So cool.
Huh.
Yeah,
That'd be interesting.
I know.
There's eating blackened cat. Peter's making up. He invented blackened catfish.
Dude. Yeah, I thought that was a cool little fact.
Yeah, it is.
But
I never even thought about that. Like, what kind of fish was it?
Yeah. I think it was catfish, or a version, or at least
Something.
a version of. Yeah, I don't know. This is also one of my favorites. This is powerful.
Yeah, I relate a lot to Paul or Saul, in the way he was converted. So, fortunately for me, though, I wasn't killing people, but
Yeah,
just the radical side of it that we're going to talk about. It's like no wonder he went on to do what he did.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's like what we talked about before. Like, I feel like people that are very extreme bad, like extremely bad people, when God gets a hold of them, they're extremely, going hard chasing the world or God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like we've talked about before.
I agree. It's a pretty good bit of verses, man. 43 of them. But it's Acts chapter 9, and basically this is Saul's conversion. Just a big overview is ultimately he's headed to go persecute more Christians.
Yeah.
And he's on the road to Damascus, and bright light comes. Jesus is talking to him.
Yeah.
And he's blinded for 3 days. I believe, 3 days.
Yeah.
And
didn't eat, didn't drink.
Yep.
Yeah. I like how they start off the chapter, just like, and I don't know what other versions say, but I'm ESV right here. But it says, but Saul, still breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord, went to the high priest, and asked him for letters to the synagogues at Damascus, so that if he found any belonging to the way, meaning Christians, people that follow Jesus, men or women, he might bring them bound to Jerusalem. So the way that they started off is interesting. Is but Saul, still breathing threats and murder, Paul write in a later book that Paul writes after his conversion, obviously, 2 Corinthians. I believe it's 2 Corinthians, but he says, "For a while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." Mm-hmm. So, Paul right here, I would say, is like at peak worst Paul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a good point that I pulled from that. It's like, this is the worst that Paul has ever been. He's killing people. Like he's at peak killing people. You know what I mean? And he's trying to get it to where he can kill more people, basically. Like, he can sin more.
Yeah.
Unknowingly. Like, he thinks he's doing the right thing.
He thought he was doing it for God.
Right. But he's not. And so that's why I think Jesus wanted to get a hold of him on this. But right there it says, but Saul, still breathing threats and murder against the disciples. So I comprehend that as like Paul sinning the most he's ever sinned.
Yeah.
And then the next part of the boom.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
I didn't even actually, that first part there, if you like, I always try to think about it like legitimately, not reading it like right now, you're going to somewhere and getting permission, but to kill people, basically.
Yep.
Or at least maybe not kill them all, but you're wanting to like torture them to stop believing what you believe.
Eradicate it, yeah.
And think about like, this was a big deal to them.
Yeah.
On their side, if you're going to the high priest, he's like, oh yeah, here's you some permission slips to beat them up, scare them, kill them if you got to.
Yep.
If they're hardcore enough on the way, you know,
extending the line.
Yeah. Then that's like crazy to think about.
That's crazy.
And that could happen. It does happen today. It still happens in other countries, obviously.
It does.
Heck, even in the United States, we're suppressed a pretty good bit.
Yeah.
For true belief.
Sure. But here, I mean, you got to think about it, like these are Christians, and I know that's not the correct term for them because they weren't following Jesus, but they were, they were devout. Like their livelihoods depended on them following God, like the same God that the disciples are following. It's the same God. They just believe, they have different. They don't believe in Jesus.
They wanted it to happen their way or whatever.
Exactly. And it's just like, there's just a gap there that needed to be bridged. But that gap was so big that they were killing the people on the other side of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, to stop. Because they were obviously gaining traction on it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the way to Damascus. So, I mean, that's the next part, literally. Approaching Damascus on this mission, a light from heaven suddenly shone down around him. He fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to him, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? And who are you, Lord? Saul asked. And the voice replied, I am Jesus, the one you're persecuting. Now get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do. So people around him are speechless. They bring him, it says Saul picked himself up off the ground, but when he opened his eyes, he was blind. So they led him by hand to Damascus. So he remained there. He remained blind. That would be insane just by itself.
Yeah.
And obviously it says he remained there blind for 3 days and did not eat or drink. Probably why. It's probably like, what the heck is going on? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine being the person that's not in disbelief, doesn't believe in this, and then the thing you don't believe in comes to you?
Yep. And it's like,
and reveals itself.
Yeah.
What the heck?
And there's no denying that. Like, there's no technology back then, that
it wasn't a hologram or something.
Yeah. There's no way that you could today probably it'd be you could probably try to rationalize it in your brain and be like, oh, maybe it was whatever. Back then, what would create that?
They didn't even have a flashlight.
Right.
So, it ain't there's a Milwaukee light somebody
exactly. There's no drone attacks back then.
Yeah.
And not only did he experience it, but all the people around, all the guards or whatever. I don't even know how many people were around him, but everyone around him experienced, heard it, saw it, they experienced it too. And so for him to go, he's going hard to Damascus to continue what he's doing and to continue killing Christians. And then, just abruptly, he quit his job, got converted, and whole personality changed in 1 day.
Yeah.
Or in 3 days. How crazy is that? Mm-hmm. I'd probably miss a meal or two.
Yeah.
too. You
Yeah,
know what
exactly.
I mean? That's a lot to swallow.
Uh-huh.
So
that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he didn't eat or drink for 3 days, and there was so it moves on to talking about a believer in Damascus named Ananias.
This is so funny.
Yeah, I know, this is crazy. So the Lord, now he's speaking to Ananias. Ananias says, yes, Lord. The Lord said to Ananias, go over to Straight Street to the house of Judas. When you get there, ask for a man from Tarsus named Saul. He is praying to me right now. I have shown him a vision of a man named Ananias coming in and laying hands on him so he can be seen. But Lord, exclaimed Ananias, I have heard many people talk about the terrible things this man has done to the believers in Jerusalem. And he is authorized by the leading priest to arrest everyone who calls upon your name. So Ananias is in Damascus. The craziest thing is Ananias already knows that he's gotten permission.
Yeah.
So obviously word spread to them, and they're in getting their defenses up, whatever they're going to do here to try to defend themselves because they know he's coming.
Yeah.
And now the Lord's telling Ananias to go talk to him. He's like, oh,
yeah.
Wait, Lord, do you know about this guy? like he's telling God something. God's like, yeah, I know about
I
that.
imagine it'd be like, hey Sawyer, I need you to go. You're gonna go to this house, and there's this guy named Hitler there, and I need you to just go pray over him real quick. Go introduce yourself. You'd be like,
Yeah.
what?
Your prayer's gonna change his life, and you're like,
Do you know this guy?
it'd be one of them things like you wait for a minute, and you're like, I think I was dreaming. It wasn't
Yeah,
me. Like, it wasn't for real.
no, you're just joking, right, God?
That's crazy, though.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
I just love his response.
Yeah. So,
You sure you want me to go do this? That's so funny.
all right. So then the Lord's like, go for Saul is my chosen instrument to take my message to the Gentiles and to the kings, as well as to the people of Israel, and I will show him how much he must suffer for my name's sake. So Ananias went and found Saul. He laid his hands on him and said, Brother Saul, the Lord Jesus, who appeared to you on the road, has sent me so that you might regain your sight and be filled with the Holy Spirit. Instantly, something like scales fell from Saul's eyes, and he regained his sight. Then he got up and was baptized. Afterward, he ate some food and regained his strength. There's a lot happening right there, but again, it's like, so something in my study there when Ananias called him Brother Saul, like, Ananias, or these Christians were used to people basically faking conversion to infiltrate their groups and find out where they're studying, like, or where they're doing, church, or just find out more about the way.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of like, like, this could be fake. Ananias has every reason to believe that this could be fake, but obviously if the Lord's telling him,
Sure,
he's like, all right, well, I'm going to go do it. Well, then he calls him Brother Saul, which in my study was like, that was important because Saul couldn't see, obviously, at this point. And he's like, he lays his hands on him. He's like, Brother Saul. And so Saul's kind of like, I don't know, it's like welcoming. And it's amazing that Ananias would call him Brother Saul because that tells you right then he believed.
Yeah.
This is real. This is from God.
It's like faith of a mustard seed. Like,
Yeah.
All right, God, like I understand you're telling me to go, so I'm gonna
I'll do
go.
it.
And not only did he go, but like he went in full sin, just like,
Yeah.
all right, if he kills me, he kills me, But and then like brother, I have that underlined right here. Brother Saul is just like a term of endearment, just like just full acceptance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas, regardless of what this guy's done, because I'm sure I know that Ananias had a past as well, and so just knowing that Jesus redeemed all the disciples and everybody that has come to be a Christian. Just he just knew, even though he had his doubts at first, like he was just like, all right, okay, Lord. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and he got, so instantly something like scales fell from Saul's eyes and he regained his sight. Well, that'd be crazy anyway. His contacts fell out. But then,
That's
and
so
then it
funny.
just literally like one little short sentence here. It's like 7 words. Then he got up and was baptized.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
literally that he just, all of a sudden he's baptized. So, and it doesn't tell us that Ananias preached the gospel to him and told him, you got to repent and be baptized or none of that. He just got up and was baptized. He's like, hey, this is the real deal. Like I'm truly saved, and gets baptized. So that's really cool. And we don't know this, but I would assume that obviously Jesus or the Holy Spirit led him to that maybe conviction or whatever it would be to get baptized.
Yeah. And didn't you say, I think I heard you say that, like, during this time, the disciples were experiencing people trying to infiltrate, their meetings or whatever.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure there was a lot of doubt, but I'm sure that, the synagogue, like the people, they knew a lot about like what they do, what they practice. They probably knew about baptism. They knew about, the Holy Spirit, speaking in tongues, all this stuff that the way was doing, like so Paul knew what baptism was probably.
Yeah.
And so he just knew that it was a practice that they practiced. And so I imagine that 3 days he probably had a lot of time to think and be like, all right, I gotta do this now.
Yeah, thinking about what they've been doing, probably I'm sure God spoke to him more than obviously during that time.
Oh yeah.
Which was probably, if and we can only assume, but that 3 days of silence, no food, I don't know if other people talked to him or whatever, but obviously there was a lot of time there. You imagine being in this room for 3 days with no sight, and not eating, not really wanting to do anything. I mean, you're going to hear from God a lot.
After experiencing what you just experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. So scales fall off, and then afterwards he ate some food and regained his strength.
Mm-hmm.
Says he stayed in Damascus for a few days, and immediately he began preaching about Jesus in the synagogue, saying, "He is indeed the Son of God." All who heard him were amazed. "Isn't this the same man who caused so much devastation among Jesus' followers in Jerusalem?" They asked. And didn't he come here to arrest them and take them in chains to the leading priests? So Saul's preaching become more and more powerful, and the Jews in Damascus couldn't refute his proofs that Jesus was indeed the Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll stop right there. I guess it's just crazy because just immediately he was coming there to kill him, and like we were just saying, obviously he already knew a lot about it, because I mean that's like his prey. I mean, if you're a predator, you're studying what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly right.
And like, why are you killing them? So obviously he knew all about it.
Yeah.
So he's like telling them, "Hey man, this is real, real deal."
Yeah, I screwed up. Check this out.
That is crazy.
But and something I noticed is like he was going to Damascus to the synagogue. Like that was his original. That was his goal. He was going there to meet with the people at the synagogue to get more permission to kill people.
Yeah.
And he shows up, and not only is he not meeting with them and asking for said permission, but he's preaching about the thing that he was trying to kill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And right here is not this the man who made havoc in Jerusalem and those who called upon his name, and has he not come here for this purpose? So they knew that he was coming there to meet with them, to kill them.
Yeah.
So everybody in Damascus knew about him coming. And so here he comes, they see him in the synagogue, and
they're like, "What the heck?"
At first they're probably like, "Oh, here he is. Here we go."
Yeah.
But then they're like, "Uh-oh."
Could you imagine his internal feelings right now?
Oh yeah.
Like the freaking adrenaline rush.
Oh yeah.
Because he's like, they're probably like, "Hey brother, yeah," and he's like, "Yeah, yeah." and then so something in some of the commentary I read, they're talking about that, like he already had permission to come there and speak.
Wow.
Basically, be a preacher, if you want to say that in a sense, in the synagogues. And so he didn't even tell them anything. He just used that permission that he already had and got up there and started telling them that it was real.
Yep.
So could you imagine them, the high priest and the whatever, who all was there that was on his side? They're probably like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, what's happening?
Yeah. So,
man,
I mean, now you can understand this next part where it says Saul's preaching became more and more powerful, and the Jews in Damascus couldn't refute his proofs that Jesus was indeed the Messiah. So after a while, the Jews plotted together to kill him, and they started watching him day and night. So like now he knows. Yeah, he's like, so now he's on the flip side of it.
Yeah.
And getting to experience what he did to others.
Yeah, like Saul probably watched Jesus. Like he probably like, I mean, it's probably deja vu to him. You know, it's like, man, we did this to Jesus.
He knew their tactics too.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool to think about.
Oh, yeah.
So he kind of knew
God was plotting.
Yeah,
God was like,
yeah.
I'm gonna get an insider. That's cool. That's funny. But man, it's just it's so like typical God fashion, just like, watch me do this. And then everything just kind of, it's just like the perfect storm. I mean, what more of a perfect person to get, but also like, how crazy is it that he chose Paul? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
it's typical God fashion.
I think we see this a lot, and I've talked about just different struggles that I go through. It's like thinking so I relate so much to to Paul because I mean it was just an instant. And I say that like all the time, but I can't. It's hard to like it wasn't a couple days or months that I tried to change or nothing like that. It was literally in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And so, like same thing with him. It was literally happened like just instantly.
Yeah.
And obviously, he was blinded for 3 days, but
Right.
but the basic conversion part, I said basic, but
Yeah.
the premier
Yeah.
conversion was instant for him.
Yeah.
And so, like as soon as he could see, man, he was going to tell people about it.
Yeah.
And so, like, but also what I say that because some people get that. For me, I feel like I was blessed, but it almost shows you how like hard headed I am, I guess, because I had to have it that way.
Yeah.
You see, and so
Yeah.
Paul or Saul did too at that time.
Yeah.
Some people get transformed or their salvation moment, and it takes maybe some things get rid of, and other things take a while. Maybe it's not a instant slap in the face. So if you're on whichever side. And I have to be careful because of mine was so radical, I guess you would say, like Saul's. I have to be careful because people that say they're saved, but you don't necessarily see the fruit of it, maybe immediately or whatever. I have to be careful because I'm like, well, that don't make sense. I had it this way, or you start thinking about the way yours, and it's not a one size fits all, is what I'm saying.
Sure. Yeah.
And so if you're on the other side of that, where you've receive salvation and you're still struggling with a bunch of stuff, well, that's just how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to go through that so that you learn the lessons so you can help the next guy.
That's right.
That's just how life works.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, if God, if everything was just perfect after you got done, after you had your conversion or whatever, I mean, you really wouldn't need saving.
Yeah.
I mean, but also everybody would do it.
Yeah.
But that's just not how it works. I mean, and we do it to ourselves. I mean, it's all self-induced pain and torment. I mean, I hate to be like that because I don't want to blame it all on. I don't want people to think that like they're going through what they're going through and that it's their fault. But I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain.
It's actually, I get what you're saying, really, and I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast before, but a mindset that I have in life, and I was taught this, is everything's your fault.
Yep.
You have to think like that. Not that it necessarily is.
Sure.
And you have to have that understanding as well, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you go through life thinking that way, instead of, I know a lot of people that just blame everybody else for everything, and nothing ever changes,
Yeah.
But if you take responsibility for your actions, or no matter what, I think we've talked about it, where you run you go through a stop sign and somebody runs it and hits you, it's your fault. You should have freaking looked. Even though it's a green light, I still look both ways.
Yeah.
To make sure nothing's going on. That's crazy. You
Yeah.
know? And so you could go through life. Well, I got hit. Somebody run a stop sign and, I had to pay for that. And then you just blame everything on everybody else, or you just take action and take responsibility for everything and just move through life. Kind of gives you a positive glass half full, glass half empty.
Yeah.
It changes you,
Yeah.
Changes your
Well,
perception.
it shows you that you can actually control the outcome, and not necessarily absolute control, but like you have responsibility over the outcome in some way, shape, or form. I read this book this year, Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin, both Navy SEALs, really good guys, very smart, and that was the what the book was based on was like just take ownership of everything, extreme ownership, and don't live your life pointing your finger, at everybody. Like you got dealt a bad hand, so this is why everything happens to you. And it's like, man, what a horrible way to live. Just take responsibility, and then if you take responsibility, you can look inwardly and say, okay, what can I do to change it going forward? And so just kind of, I don't know how we got on that, but I think it's my fault. But
No, it's good.
I guess just like, I don't know. Where were we at with that?
I do that all the time. Now you get to thinking, and so what I'm thinking is, because we go through, like I was saying, if you get your salvation and you're struggling with some stuff, and it takes, everybody is. I still struggle with stuff. Man, I'm reading a book right now, Every Thought Captive, by Kyle Idleman, and I'm telling you, it's got to be the second best book. I always say the Bible's the best. Obviously, it is. It literally, you can get everything you need from the Bible, but it also helps in life to hear from others' experiences. Just like God used Saul or Paul to tell us all the stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he can use these other people that write books for us to learn too. But anyway, second best book. The War in Your Mind, Winning the War in Your Mind. Craig Rochelle wrote that book. I read it a long time ago. I thought, man, I don't really need that. I think I'm pretty good. But no, like you can have thoughts of like, you can be on top of the world and be like, man, I ain't good enough. Just ain't doing it. I just don't freaking measure up. It could be, you could do, how they say you could have one mess up will ruin 1,000 attaboys. Yeah. And that's like, that's our world. That's how we feel and what we think. Yeah. But, just because I see a lot of people there, what I'm trying to compare is you've got Saul, who radically was changed. Yeah. Like he went from killing to literally preaching to people in salvation moments. Yep. Like instantly, basically. Yeah. Some people just don't have it that way. So don't look at this and be like, well, I'm not like that. So I don't know if I'm even supposed to be doing this or, whatever. Because I know people that are like that. They're like, man, I don't remember scripture. I don't either. I got to freaking read it.
Right.
I can't even remember what chapter we're on. Yeah. Most of the, like sometimes,
Yeah. I think the tide that I was trying to do is just like, in a future chapter, Paul's saying that, there's a thorn in my flesh, and, I pleaded with God 3 times, and I don't think that he necessarily, like, there were 3 specific times that he said 3 specific prayers to God. I think that's referring to like 3 seasons of just like prayerfully asking God to like remove that thorn. And we were saying that, there were things that he probably, he was changed, but it wasn't just a 100%, he's now perfect Paul. Yeah. Like he still dealt with things. He still had that thorn in his flesh, whatever it was. It doesn't say, but, and I don't think we'll ever know, but, he dealt with that and he went through it. But man, look at what God did through him, regardless of that. Yeah. Same thing with David, look at what God did despite David's mess ups. And so, and in that chapter I'm talking about where he says, God, I had a thorn in my flesh. He says, so I will rejoice, whenever I face challenges, whenever I face, whatever comes my way, hardships. He said, because it produces, endurance. It produces, words. It produces these. It produces characteristics in me that I would never have if I didn't face those trials. And so, that just goes. It all starts right here. It's just like, man, God radically changed him, and he knew just where he was before Jesus met him on that road, and then right after it was complete conversion. So he's able to relate to people. He's able to say, you know what, no matter. Like, I don't care, what these people at Damascus, at the synagogue think. Like, I'm about to tell these people how wrong I was, Yeah. So,
you made me think, it's a very good point. So, like, you take somebody that maybe has been in jail and they got there, and we see this. We know people personally that have done this, but maybe jail is their thing. They've been in and out of jail, just can't get out of that system, whatever. Then they have a conversion. Their life's good. Personally, their life's better because they're converted. Now they're like on the right track. They're making the right decisions, all that stuff. God didn't do that so that you could just have a better life.
Mm-hmm.
God did that so that you go back to that prison and you tell other people what he can do for them too, or what he has done, I should say.
Yep.
And so I think, and that's the same for our lives. I've got people that I used to hang out with that I just want to slap them around and be like, dude, wake up.
Yeah.
But it's I've just finally understood, and I've seen it now a few times where, just like if these dudes that knew Saul, could you imagine how they felt afterwards?
Right.
And how Saul felt, if maybe, I don't know, and maybe we do, maybe I just don't know, but I'm sure some of those are converted people,
maybe.
And
right.
because of that moment.
Right.
Because of, or even people that knew Saul, in his previous life or whatever, I'm sure they were converted.
Yeah.
But some of them, he probably wanted to slap them around and be like, dude, what are y'all doing? But you can't force that on anybody.
Sure, right.
They have to experience it. When people ask me that, I'm like, you just literally have to experience it.
And that's why your testimony is so powerful, is because those people that knew you before Jesus, those are probably the people that are going to be most, your wife,
Mm-hmm.
or, your family, or those friends that you had. I'm sure Lauren could see a radical difference in you from, this day versus the next day, after your conversion or whatever. Because you definitely weren't the same person.
Right.
And so you can't argue with that. You can't, can't call bull crap on.
I didn't work on myself with a book for
exactly
months and just slowly change. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
And just same thing with Saul. He was just 100% full send, going this way, and then completely turned around and going the opposite way.
Yeah.
You just can't argue with that.
Yeah. You're making me, I'm laughing because I'm thinking about the people that didn't know Saul or Paul beforehand. And he's telling them yeah, man, I used to kill people. They're probably like, what the heck?
I've killed thousands of people.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about we have friends, you get to meeting people in your Christian circle, if you want to call it that, meet new people at church, whatever it is. And those people, and you're talking with, you might know them for a year, and then all of a sudden you get a time to actually hear their testimony or something. Yeah. You're like, dude, there's no way that was you.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah,
that was me riding home with Keith Cromwell.
Oh yeah, you're like, no way.
I didn't know what his story, and I'm not going to talk about it, but one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, just Jim McWilliams.
Yeah.
One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and just you hear their story and you're like, that was you, you know? Whoa.
And those men that you just mentioned, there's several others. I think back on my life, I used to could yell. I cannot yell now.
Really?
If I yell, my throat literally, my voice will go out.
It just stops, yeah.
Yeah, and so, but I used to be able to, it was one of those things. But I think about men like that, true disciples that I know, they don't yell.
Yeah.
They can't yell at people. That's funny. They're so I guess what I mean is their voice, their tone is so loving.
Yeah.
It can, in any conversation.
Yep.
And then when you hear about their life before, you're like, no
come
way.
On. Yeah, there is no way. And just and it's that. And obviously, I'm not, patting Jim or Keith on the back. I'm sure if they had it their way, they would, they wouldn't be pursuing God. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That if God wasn't in them, if they hadn't had that conversion moment, they'd
still be fleshly.
Exactly. Yeah. They would be completely different people. But the Holy Spirit has absolutely transformed them. Same thing with Paul, and made them into who they are now. And now they're sitting at the synagogue, preaching to people. Same thing as Paul, just radically changed.
Let's see where we're at right here. I mean, it really doesn't matter. One point, sorry, one point that you just made me think of, I think is very important. And I hope we didn't already talk about this. I don't think we have, but it's a good point anyway. So you can listen again. The the verse in the Bible, and I don't know what it is. I can't quote it, but that speaks where Jesus said the faith of a mustard seed.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the verse says, but it says if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, "Move," and it will move.
Yeah.
Throw yourself in the ocean, something like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
I'm gonna make myself look like a retarded.
You're good.
Faith of a mustard seed is like nothing, and so I'm always thinking weird, thinking outside the box. I'm thinking about Saul. Yeah, he's still doing what he's doing. Obviously, from what we know now, though, after his conversion, he knew about baptism somehow, and he knew enough to do that, and he knew enough to instantly be able to go preach about him. So obviously, and like we talked about, if you're a predator, you're going to study your prey, so you know what they're doing, you know why, whatever. And obviously, if he wanted to kill him because he thought he was doing it for God, he studied enough about it to know that he didn't like it at that time.
Yeah.
Before his conversion. So I'm just thinking like, we've talked about the Calvinism stuff, and I'm learning a lot of stuff that I didn't know was out there, but and so I asked a question to myself. I'm like, well, did God just choose him? Like,
right.
And we don't know.
Sure.
Technically, as far as I know, we don't know what happened, but I got to thinking about it. I was like, I wonder if he just had the faith of a mustard seed. Like, all he did was on that road was just thinking maybe on his travels, wonder if this is real.
Yeah.
Like, that was pretty crazy what I just saw happen, or whatever.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, boom, that was just it. Because he also says, crack the door open and I'll come in.
Let me in, yeah.
So I'm wondering because that's all I'm still right. I know I talk.
No, yeah.
It's just crazy to think that, he's on this road and all of a sudden, boom, he got saved.
Right,
So,
exactly.
was that the faith of a mustard seed?
Well, and Jesus tells Ananias, he says, go, for he is a chosen instrument of mine.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Yeah. What version do you have?
The ESV.
ESV, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to highlight, I'm going to underline that.
What verse? What number is that?
That is verse 15.
Let's see. Yeah, go, for Saul is my chosen instrument. So I got the same. This is NLT.
Yeah.
So same thing. Yeah, I read that too.
That's
that may
deep.
be okay. That's where my question comes. That's how I got that in my head.
Right.
Chosen. So I'm like,
I mean, that's, and not that that's like, that's Calvinism. Like, he was predestined, or I know what you mean, but I mean, that is like something to think about. Like how we were saying earlier, like what a perfect storm to choose Paul. I mean, one, he's probably the worst choice, but also he was the perfect choice.
Yeah.
The perfect choice in the sense of like what a powerful testimony he would have.
Yeah.
Same thing with like all of the disciples. The most unlikely people became the most impactful people.
Yeah.
Wow. Just, I mean, and like I was saying earlier, just typical God fashion. And he chose him, plucked him out of nothing and made him into Paul, wrote most of the New Testament,
Yeah.
I mean, just can't argue with it.
You can't, you can't just make that up.
Yeah.
Nobody paid him to do that, or
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Wow. We were talking about Calvinism or predestination. So, and it said God chose him. I think that, I'm going to go like on a rabbit hole here for just a second. Not necessarily a rabbit hole. It's just something I guess I feel like I want to say just because it's just brought to me this week from God, really. I think there's no doubt, though, God chooses people to do certain things. This case right here was radical. Some people aren't so radical, and it made me think about the parable of the talents.
Okay.
That because I was just thinking about that, and it really ties to contentment. So when God chooses us to do stuff, or let's just use the talents, he gave, I don't remember, I'll make up numbers. He gave one to somebody, they went and hid it in a field. I'm going to do my elementary version here. He gave one to somebody, they hid it in the field, they didn't do nothing. They were scared to do anything with it. They held it just to hold on to it.
Yeah.
Second one, gave a certain number, they got some extra. They got some ROI. They got some return on investment for God.
Yeah.
Gave it to him. He was proud of that. The third one, they did a really good job. He gave them the most. They brought back the most, obviously. But it was according to the measure that he gave them. So, I think for us, we get so caught up in whether it is financially or just ministry in general. We see somebody who can just go up to a waitress and lay hands on them and pray for them, don't even know them, and just all their words are just like perfect,
Yeah.
And we believe that God's using us to speak to those people, or using them to speak to those people. Just because they can do that doesn't mean we have to do it. Like me, I'm not real good at that, but I know somebody that is, and I'm like, dang man, why don't I do that? It's just not for me yet.
Sure. Yeah.
I do it in a different way, apparently.
Right.
Right. So that's just a talent that I don't have, but I think once we get saved, we start looking at other Christians like, wow, they do this and they can do that. Man, I really need to step my game up.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah.
We're where we're at for a reason.
Right.
Like maybe if we could do all that, this other person wouldn't be comfortable coming to us because we're too Christian or something,
Yeah. Right.
You get where I'm going with that?
Sure. Yeah.
I think we just got to be more just speaking to people, just wherever you're at, whether you got, you can lay hands on somebody and pray for them, or you just say it silently in your head.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like
I'm sure Ananias thought he'd be the last person to ever, be asked to do something like that. I mean, when do we ever hear about Ananias?
Never.
And about, you know what I mean?
He did one thing, and basically.
He helped one of the main, Paul, who wrote most of the New Testament, he kind of helped start it, basically, baptized him. Wow, Yeah. And just, I don't know. I mean,
I think it's just our human fleshly nature, though, to be the one. We want to be Paul.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want to be Ananias per se. We do want to be.
Sure.
But we want it to be like really known, like do a lot. So, it's crazy.
Well, what was the thing you called me this week, and you were talking about Psalm 115? Is that right?
55.
55.
18
okay.
and 19, I believe. Yeah, that was, bro. That's pretty good. Yeah.
18 and 19. Yeah.
And you have to kind of almost read out of it's 55, 18, and 19.
Yeah. Well, he redeems my soul in safety from the battle that I wage, for many are arrayed against me. God will give ear and humble them, he who is enthroned from old, because they do not change and do not fear God.
Yeah, and basically the whole Psalm 55, what they said was David, instead of telling God about his despair, he flipped it and started telling his despair about God.
Yeah.
Which was really freaking good. And
Yeah.
that's kind of like this every thought captive. Instead of just, you got to figure out, I mean, honestly, every thought captive is talking about spiritual warfare. I'm on this kick. I say kick. I'm on a mission to understand spiritual warfare, the war in your mind, because I believe, and it may be men and women, I don't know, but I know for a fact, Christian men, that is our number one battle.
Yeah.
Whether it's lust thoughts, self-worth thoughts, whatever it is, that's a battle.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, dude, about to kick you in the face, devil. We're going to learn this stuff. And he don't like it because I've had the last 3 nights, I've had like just wake up ticked off, just bad dreams. Like I've done things in my dreams that I wouldn't, the opposite of what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So he's trying to get me there.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I've been able to wake up and tell my wife I'm mad at her. But no, just things like that, man. And just that was just really cool that David flipped that around like that.
Yeah. And it's like what we were talking about earlier, just like Paul made it his mission to understand his prey. I mean, why are we not doing the same thing with, Satan attacking us?
Yeah.
We need to learn his tactics. We need to learn why he does what he does, why he, how he does what he does, so that we can better combat it,
Yeah.
And Paul was kind of perfecting it in his own way. And then he turned it around, whatever. And so, I don't know. I just thought that was really cool. That was a really good point that you told me this week. I just wanted to bring it up.
That is. It's that's that Kyle Idleman. I think that's where I heard that. But dude, I've got to share this. We're going a little bit long, but whatever. So Every Thought Captive by Kyle Idleman, and then it talked about the screw tape letters. I've heard of the screw tape letters, but the title of that book doesn't sound very attractive, so I've never read it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I would have and I know everything happens in timing and all that, but man, like, I cannot wait we went to Books A Million yesterday and I bought it. I cannot wait to finish Every Thought Captive and start that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've had time to read it yet, but I challenge everybody, really. This would be my challenge. If you do anything this week, and I don't know what everybody thinks about AI, they're going to get your information no matter what you do. You're going to, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, God's going to protect you from whatever you need protecting from.
Give it your social security number.
Yeah. If they steal your social, hey, God's going to take care of you.
Yeah, who cares?
So I uploaded a PDF of my testimony to ChatGPT, and the prompt was, and I don't know word for word, but I said, only reference Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis and reference my testimony and write a letter, because I didn't know a lot about screw tape letters. So I said, write a letter to the devil. I didn't know what to say. Write a letter to the devil, or to your, as the devil, to your minion.
Yeah. You have to read the
I'm
book.
funny. Yeah. So I said, write a letter to your minion as if you're the devil, of how you're going to attack this guy.
Yeah.
Zach.
Yeah.
And I don't remember, like I said, I don't remember my exact prompt, but if you know about the book, you'll get it. But dude, maybe you don't have a testimony written out. Just talk to ChatGPT, tell it a little bit about yourself, or all you want to tell it. They already know anyway. And then tell it to write that letter. And bro, it wrote a letter. Holy cow. In the form of screw tape. And bro, it gave like 6 or 7 attacks or whatever. And man, it talked about how, like, we tried to win in this way, we couldn't. That was a failure. Unfortunately, the enemy, and you got to remember, they're talking, the enemy's God. The enemy is the spirit. Dude, it's such a transformational, like, mind shift, dude.
So good. I can't wait for you to read the book.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
It's one of the. It's pretty dense. I mean, it's C.S. Lewis.
Yeah,
I'm speaking for me. Like, I had a hard time. There were a few pages I had to read twice, but, like, man, I mean, it's so good. And he has several books. I forget the names of them, but Screw Tape Letters is probably one of my favorites. I would definitely commend it to anybody listening. That's a really good one.
And I'm going to read one of these points. Oh boy, I don't know if I can. Number 6. And it says, divide his brotherhood. He now has something we deeply hate, real men around him. Accountability, truth, sharpening. You must fracture this. Now, not through conflict, because that's too obvious. Yeah. We've talked about this stuff before. He's not just going to come in and blatantly attack.
Yeah.
So do it subtly. They don't understand, and in quotation, so do it subtly. They're trying to get me to start thinking this, but now I know your plan. They don't understand what you're carrying. You're ahead of them now. You don't need to open up about this. So, and then he says, isolation, even in small doses, will weaken him.
Yep.
Bro.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that's been going on, and we're not talking about it, but some of the stuff that's been going on to kind of pull several people out of certain things. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
So, dude, anyway, I highly recommend the Every Thought Captive, and then obviously Screw Tape Letters, which I haven't read, but I mean I already know it's going to be great.
Right. That's so good. And it really just paints a picture of like, I mean, just learning Satan's tactics. I mean, the enemy. I mean, because the game hasn't changed. I mean, it may have changed in the sense of like, uh, you know, there's different tools, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, lust isn't the same as it was back in, BC time, or, you know, greed or pride, or, I'm sure, but it's still lust, greed, pride.
Yeah.
It's
Same
it's
seven
all
deadly.
the same.
Yeah.
It's just different tools, different weapons. And so just learning, learning your mind, learning, what I guess what you're most tempted with. I don't know. Another good book is it's by Jonathan Pokluda. He just came out with it, but it's I think it's about spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one to read too.
Yeah.
Just look it up, Jonathan Pokluda, Spiritual Warfare. I'm sure you could find it. I don't know what the name of it is, but just learning Satan's tactics, and then learning how to combat them.
Yeah. One more last point from the book, Every Thought Captive. I did not come up with this, but I think it is really good. I'm going to use pornography as the example. It talks about you can't there's plenty of apps out there. You can buy an app. You can put stuff on your physical, whatever, your wife can have your passwords. All that's great stuff. That'll help. Accountability, all that'll help.
Sure.
But you have to look upstream of that. So before you get to the point of going down that path or clicking on something, even if you have a blocker or whatever, you've got to look like, what's the seed of this? Like, what's upstream of this? And so he talks about, Facebook. Are you scrolling Facebook? You see the beach pictures and all that, and then that plants just this little seed.
Yeah.
That subtle attack he's talking about?
Yeah.
That little seed, and then the next time you see something just a little bit more, and then all of a sudden you're, something happens and you're down and out, and then that's where you go, know?
Right.
And you don't want to do that. Then you get the shame and the guilt and all the stuff.
Yep.
So this book, man, that's what I'm saying. I'm so like pumped up because I love that. Like it doesn't just attack like the main problem. It's really Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say that. It's really something upstream of that. That's little trickles of stuff that the devil's doing that you don't even realize.
The seed.
Yep.
What planted the seed?
Yep. Man, not just like, it's just eye-opening to learn that stuff.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. But, just those books, man, learning that stuff. I think we've got to learn that. Man, and there's people that I know that just struggle with some things. And if you could just, at some point you've got to take action. So you've got to go back in history in your life and figure out what moment caused that.
Yeah.
So, man, I could keep going. He talks about in that book a guy named Michael, who I'll speed this up because I don't want to ruin the whole book. But he talks about a guy named Michael. He's overweight. He's like 41 years old. Michael, every bad day at work, he goes out to eat. He's bought he bought small plates to do portioning so he could lose weight. He's going to get healthy, but he goes back and gets like 3 plates, got a gym membership, doesn't ever go. Starts a new diet. 2 days later, something bad happens. He breaks the diet. Go back to like high school. He asks a girl out. She says no. He goes and eats. Traced it all the way back to when he was 8 years old one day. I hope I can get this out. And he is at his house, and then all of a sudden, like everybody is, I don't know who it was, his mom, obviously, and maybe his siblings are like bawling, crying. He's 8 years old. He retreats to his room. Not too long later, or after that, his mom comes in the room with a batch of fresh cookies, chocolate chip cookies. That sit on his bed and eat them in silence, like don't even speak, and eat the whole dozen or whatever. And then she tells him his dad just died. He was a firefighter. So that moment of the eating the cookies was like the last like real peace, a really peaceful moment for him. So then the rest of his life, he equated food
Eating.
with that short little peace and happiness.
Wow.
Bro, you talking about, like, I got chills talking about that, but
Yeah.
and that's what I always tell people, man, you just don't know what somebody's been through.
Yep.
So
Yep.
somebody like that, you'd be like, oh, that dude's fat, well, you don't know
Yeah.
what he went through.
Yep. Wow.
And so that's just powerful to just think about Michael now. And I don't know his story now, obviously,
Sure.
but he was able to figure that out and change his life because he went back in history.
Figured it out.
Took
Yeah.
a
The
counselor.
seed.
Yep.
Wow.
So, and that's what the devil does not want you to do.
Yeah.
And when you start
Chase it
learning about it, he's going to hit you even harder.
Hard. Yep.
So, if you start getting, I hear people all the time, man, I'm just under attack. I just can't get right. You're getting right. That's why you're getting attacked.
Yeah. That's good. Wow.
Wow, I got a little fired up right there. I love
This is
that
a
stuff,
really
bro.
this is a really good pod. I'm reading that same book, the Kyle Idleman one. I just started it, and I'm excited now.
I ruined it for you.
Yeah.
No,
I'm not gonna read it now.
Yeah.
Kyle Idleman's really good. I love him.
It's exciting. Awesome.
Acts 9.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Well, I wonder what we're doing next on the next one.
You want to do 10?
No. Get that one.
Well, awesome. Dude, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, ditto.
If y'all have any comments for us or additional information, nuggets, please share them. I love to read that stuff, man.
Yeah.
We love to learn. So,
Yeah, we're gonna have Paul on the next podcast.
bro.
Well, cool.
Yeah, we love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Share it, tell a friend, do all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Love
See
y'all.
y'all next week.
Bye.
Love y'all.